backgrounds in Rise 360. So if you have two adjacent blocks, like I have here, this is regular text block, and then this is the bulleted list, numbered list block. But I want them to look like they are together, as almost like they're one block. But as someone pointed out, they don't really, they can't like share a common container that can be styled with the background. You can see what's going on. I want it to be, just one image going across both. So how can we do that? We actually can, obviously with just one solid background color, but the image is, and when I upload the image, it turns them into two different images. I don't have like a common library to pull from my own images. So not very efficient. It adds two different images, and of course it does not look like one single image. There's something we can do with a background style. So what I'm gonna do, we need something common to hook onto with our CSS. So for now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove the image. Oh, actually, I'm just going to specify a new color. And I'm going to go custom. I'm going to use, let's use that 1D, 1D, 1D. Now that's going to be something unique that I'm going to hook onto. So as long as that is good, 1D, 1D, 1D. Let me go to the image. I don't have to delete it. I can just select a new color here. Just pasted that in 1D, 1D, 1D. Good. And now I have a common selector, and if I ever use this background color for a block, I'm going to make a new style. It's going to be kind of a global style across this course as a theme component. And probably if you're designing a course, generally you probably don't want to have like, too many different dark styles. They should be, you should be reusing common styles. That's really what CSS is all about. So in this theme component, I'm just going to set up one dark style that'll be shared by all my blocks throughout the course. Downloaded my course, and we're going to add some CSS and an image. I'm going to use an SVG for our background. First thing we're going to do, let's look at this CSS being applied. Now, when you do something with the backgrounds in Rise, it's adding a bunch of inline styles. It's actually setting a variable. Remember the 1D, 1D, 1D? That's right there. I'm actually going to use that as what I'm going to hook onto. So whenever the document sees this background of 1D, 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 I'm going to replace that with my image. And this is kind of an advanced selector, but what I'm going to do, okay, we've got a whole bunch of inline CSS. Normally CSS, it's in like a separate document. That's why it's called cascading style sheets. It's usually in a separate sheet. So this right here, it's not the most efficient way to style a website, but this is just the way the editor kind of works. It puts all our styles in line. And I'm not sure why they're using a variable. It's kind of strange because variables, they're meant to be shared among like your whole website, right? But in Rise, it just adds it as an inline variable. They could have just an inline background color, but I don't. I think that they're trying to use more variables, but it doesn't make sense to me why they're setting a variable inline like this. It's not shared by anything else. But anyway, I'm going to make a new rule. And this is so when we have I'm going to start out my selector here, div. Now here's where we get kind of advanced. I'm going to use a wildcard selector based on that background color. So style is the attribute we're hooking onto. Style, and then I'm going to go wildcard because it's a huge style attribute. So I'm going to use wildcard equals, and I'm going to paste in that variable. I'm not setting the color. I'm just using that very specific CSS as my selector. So we're getting kind of advanced here, but this is, if I really want to select this element, I wish Rise would let us put custom classes on blocks. That would make so much. It would make this easier, but this is the best way we've got right now. Okay, so let's see if I wrote that correctly, and I'm just going to do background red. Okay. Not that that looks good, but I'm going to use that as my selector. So if I go to, and like I said, I had downloaded my course. So there's my index file. That's where I added the link to this CSS, custom.css. And here's where I added my my SVG, darkbg1e, very small file, 2 kilobytes, teeny tiny. Okay, so let's go. Here's where I added the link to my custom.css. Here's my blank file, custom.css. And I'm going to paste that in, background color red, and I'm going to hit save. And I'm just going to refresh, make sure that took place. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, I'm just going to design in the browser here a little bit. Background red. Okay. Now I'm gonna run background image. I'm gonna link to that SVG, and what did I call that again? darkbg1e. Okay, now you can see my image, but of course it doesn't look very good. It's the completely wrong size. I'll take off. Oh, okay, just took off the red there. Now it's you can see we're basically back to where we were before in Rise. You can see where my background image is getting clipped. We want that to look like it's all part of just one element. We're going to kind of fake it out with. This is not used too often. You've probably seen it used on the web. It creates kind of a cool effect. Background attachment fixed. So what this does, it's putting. Copy that before I lose it. It's putting see how as I scroll the background it's kind of fixed in place as I scroll. So it's kind of a cool effect. Not exactly parallax, it's just a fixed background. But the cool thing about the fixed background, it acts like whatever element is using that background, they all look connected together. That's just kind of a funny effect of how the background fixed works. So now as long as I have adjacent elements, they're going to share that same background attachment, and it looks like the same image. So let's get rid of background red, background image URL. And now, moment of truth, I'm going to hit refresh, see if it worked. Yeah, it works. I don't know if I like that orange theme color, but that's how you can set up a unique background, use that as a selector, and style the background, and essentially visually connect two different blocks, give them the same background color. And it's kind of cool, the effect also.